Welcome to Childcare Conversations, the podcast for childcare leaders ready to move from overwhelmed to confident and capable. You're joining Kate and Carrie, early childhood experts with over 20 years of experience. Since 2002, they've helped equip and train over 4,500 directors nationwide with real-world systems, practical tools, and the confidence to run a center where both staff and children thrive. This episode is brought to you by ECE NAC, the National Administrator Credential created by directors for directors. If you're tired of juggling compliance, budgets, and burnout, ECENAC.com is built for you. Now let's get into today's conversation, one we think you're really going to enjoy.
Hey guys, so today we're going to have a conversation about one of those big things that has changed in the tech world and should be affecting your program, and that's AI with our friend Kaila Linder. We don't only interview people from Texas, but there are a lot of people in Texas, so we do interview people from Texas more than we do other states and provinces and countries. So a little bit of bias. What?
They can always decide if they want to join. They can go to childcareconversations.com and click share your story, and you can apply to be a guest. We'd love to have you. Okay, sorry, I had to do a shameless plug.
Especially our listeners that are overseas, our listeners in, Korea, our listeners in Australia, New Zealand, Africa, that one person in Germany. Guten Tag. So we'd love to share your stories too. But Kayla, why don't you tell the people who haven't met you at 27 conferences a little bit about you and your journey in the industry?
So if you ask my husband, I give the worst elevator pitch of who I am, but I will give it a try. So I'm Kaila Linder. I'm with Linder Connect, which is an AI-based service company. But in addition to that, I've been in the industry 15 plus years. So 15 plus years, started from the very bottom as a substitute teacher and worked my way up. I now own 16. I'm a part owner in 16 preschools here in Texas. So that's exciting, and now have a new AI support company.
Love that. Well, welcome, Kayla, and we are so excited to have you join. And folks have been listening to us for just a few years, so we are starting the 300s, the 300 series. And so we are excited to have you as part of our 300 series. That's going to be my new name for it. I don't know why. It popped into my head. And
I love it.
It's like my brain goes to, this is the Star Trek D or whatever.
And I was going to say, does it make this like the Gladiator series? Because they had that 300 movie, right? So
it's really funny because I went to a turkey, which is what you get as a 300, to get a 300 in bowling. So apparently we are all over the place. We got gladiators, we got turkeys. That should tell you a lot about where this conversation is going to go. So if anybody ever wonders if there are scripted questions or if this is scripted, this should be a real realization that it is anything but scripted. With that, Kayla, I know that a lot of folks who are listening are probably not, they're tech savvy enough to discover a podcast, right? So, but they may not go, ooh, I'm so excited about AI or some new tech something. And those who do know anything about tech, I'm guessing that probably most of us are probably at the Chat GPT, Copilot, Perplexity, like we're at an entry level component. And we may have seen a video or an ad or something about other things that are AI possible. Tell us a little bit about what's possible first. And then we'll come back and have a discussion about how we could possibly use that in childcare other than writing social media posts and then forgetting to take the created by Chat GPT content out of
the post. No, absolutely. So, depending on who you ask, AI, the sky's the limit. Anything and everything is possible. I will say I wasn't tech savvy for a long time. I've kind of learned as I go. But what I'm finding with AI is that it's built for people that aren't tech savvy. It's just I like to call it the 2.0 version. I mean, I use it for everything, for checking my emails, for grammar, to messages to parents. How can I say this a little bit nicer? That, hey, if you don't pay me by Wednesday, your kids can't come. Um, and it's because we don't want to be rude about it, but at the end of the day, we need that, and so
Yeah,
AI and ChatGPT. Yeah,
I have to say that the directors that complain about their staff sending stuff out on the parent platform because the grammar or the spelling is wrong, I'm like, girl, just get Grammarly. Like,
yeah,
what is your problem? Install
yeah,
Grammarly on those iPads so that
yeah,
Well,
the staff
and
can use Grammarly in their parent communication.
yep,
It would
I got
solve that whole issue.
a tip. Go to a platform that actually has AI built in the parent communication.
yep.
Plug, look at last quarter sponsor. Okay. So
Yeah, and I mean,
if your software app doesn't have that feature, call, and I mean call, don't send a message. Call somebody and say, "Hey, my staff really need this feature."
yeah,
There's also some great platforms if you've got bilingual or language, like different languages. I mean, Carrie and I know probably all of the different platforms, but if you have a high population of either staff who don't speak English or parents who don't speak English, check out Family, because
yeah,
Family has a two-way translation component. So if your staff only speak one language and you want them to send good English text messages to the parents, you might need to look at that particular platform for that reason. So,
yeah.
all right, I'm done. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So, yeah. So, we actually, that's how AI started. It was, I've got a problem and how do I fix it? And so
Mhm.
we had a Spanish immersion school. And so we started with, I have Spanish speaking teachers that want to talk to my English speaking parents and don't know how to do it. Especially in writing. Writing is so much harder than, the language, just speaking it. And so we started with inputting an app into our platform because the platform we were using at the time didn't have it. So we developed an app that's essentially a chat bot. So you can say, I want to tell mom that her son was having a great day today and these are the activities that we did. And she puts all that into Spanish and it translates it into English and she can just copy paste and put it in. But yes, if you have the native integration, it's great. If you've got the platform for it, for sure. But yeah, I mean, that's really how my AI journey started. And so, I'll talk about how Linder Connect kind of started was that my husband's in a totally different industry and he's a software developer and he was doing some really cool things with AI where he started with giving his clients the what we call AI Emily. So she is a fully automated voice agent that answers the phone. And he was doing that for his industry. And I was like, I want that for my industry because I was looking at just my schools alone. We had at the time about 14 centers. We were losing between 300 and 500 calls weekly, after hours
Yep.
calls, weekend calls. Director's already on the phone, can't answer a second call. So 300 to 500 calls weekly. And so we started with a voice AI agent. So AI Emily is a voice agent. And if the director can't get to the phone, she answers the phone and she can give you information about the school. She can set up a tour for you. If you're one of those schools that lets tuition be told on the phone, she can give that out too. Um, and so that's where it started. And it was just a really cool thing. And I think when we started in this industry, it scared a lot of people because they didn't want to lose that human touch. And in none of the AI work that I do, I don't want to lose that human touch. I am a mom of two young kids. I understand the value of that. Absolutely. Um, but this is a support system. So what we say is let Emily answer the phone so you can focus on what's in the classroom. Let Emily take that message for you so that you're not answering 400 calls. The best thing that I hear from directors, she filters out spam calls. So you're not getting that update your Google Voice listing or the marketing agent who wants to know if you need paper towels.
Oh, wait. Does she answer the parent one that just says, "Hey, I'm running late,"
Yep.
or
Yeah.
when Carrie and I participated, and I know you were there,
Yep.
and we heard numbers as far as, well, I don't know if you were in that workshop, but I think you were, just about the number of calls an average director gets during the day that are not revenue producing calls. And so, like you said, I mean, so if you do the math, I just want to real quick. So folks, and I'm going to make Carrie pull out her calculator.
Oh
So
gosh.
you
Oh,
guys have
goodness.
14
Okay.
schools. So she's got 14 schools and they're losing 300 calls a week. So 300 divided by 14, what does that carry?
Hang- I hadn't even pulled it up yet.
Oh,
I'm like, I need a calculator too. I
300.
can get on the calculator trend with you. But I mean, we were saying
Okay,
an
so
average-
that's 4,200.
no.
4,200 calls.
The other direction. I
other
want to
direct
know
divide.
how
So-
many per school per week is
Yeah,
where I was
so
going.
500, let's say,
Divided by 14.
yep, divided by the 14. So we were losing about
Oh.
35 calls per location.
36, yeah. 35 point, yeah.
Okay, so if you're listening to this, you might be going, oh, that's only like 6 calls a day. Okay, I don't know about you, but if even one of those calls every day turned into a tour, that is 5 tours a week. And unless your program has a massive wait list, I bet there's nobody, well, okay, maybe not nobody, but there's probably very few of you who are listening who having 5 tours a week isn't going to make a huge difference in your profitability of your program. So for the programs who are like, oh, I don't need this, we don't get that many calls or I'm not losing. First of all, do you really know if you're not losing? Because if somebody's
Right, because if they don't get an answer in the first 3 rings, they're hanging up
Yep.
and going on to the next one. They've already stalked your program on social media and on the website, and they made the decision that you were one of the 3 they were looking at. And if you don't answer the phone, then they know you're not going to answer the phone when they have a question about their child's sore throat.
Yep.
So they're not going to pick up, they're not going to go to your program. And
All right,
that's
so
the
let's let
thing
Kayla
that I
finish
think people
telling
have a
us
hard
more.
time with.
No,
Okay.
you're fine. You're fine. No, I mean, this is exactly the train of thought that we had. It was even if one of those 35 calls was an active, warm lead that wanted a tour, we lose it. I mean, that's all the research that's coming out. Line Leader just did their benchmark report, and that's what it said. If you don't pick up, they're just going on to the next one.
Yeah, and
You're gonna leave-
IntelliKids had a similar one,
Yeah.
right? So like we're all looking at the numbers, and if folks have been listening to us at all over the last 2 years, we've been barking this about answer the dang phone because we call you. And if we're trying to give you something and we call our clients, and we have about between 600 and 800 every year that we go through our list to try to attempt to call. We get folks who don't call us back, don't email back, don't answer the phone. Just a couple of weeks ago, Carrie and I each had a list of 20 people because we call about 20 to 40 a week. Like we each got a hold of one out of 20.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, so, and that's, and we're just talking about missed calls, I mean, what we say is AI Emily is never going to replace that dedicated owner who's there, passionate, driven, building that connection over the phone, smiling so you can hear it over the phone type of deal. She's not going to replace that person. But your director who's just run from a classroom in the back to answer the phone, or your teacher who's sitting there because the director's on bus run, and she's going to do better than that. And like I said, the whole purpose was so that the director could focus on what's happening in their center. They could be present for their center without dealing with all of the sort of monotonous questions. You get the same question. What's the tuition? Do you have availability? What's your philosophy? What's the longevity of your teachers? Emily can answer all those questions.
Love that.
She's going to give you that opportunity. Yeah.
So Kayla, this is just for programs with like lots of locations, right? Like this, I only have 30. I got a program for 30 kids. It's just my program. Is this something I should even think about?
No, much to your point, if you're not full, you want to take in every lead that you've got. So unless you've got a 2-year wait list, I say it's going to be a benefit to you. We have different plans. So we've got plans where people are like, I wanted to answer every call because I get consistency through that. We see that for a lot of multi-site owners because I can't sit next to every single director and answer every single call with them. But for our smaller schools, just make it the backup, the after hours weekend. Like I said, I have 2 young kids, 4 and 2. I'm making phone calls. I'm inquiring about things at 8:00 at night when my kids are finally in bed. And so if I want to know about a program, that's a great opportunity for me to give that call and schedule that tour at 8:00. when I can't do it during the day. I'm too busy.
So Kayla, let's talk a little bit about, we've talked about, we talk to folks all the time
Yeah.
in person at our conferences about starting to at least move their tours into, automation on their website where somebody can literally schedule it right then and there. I mean, that's a plug and play with Calendly or TidyCal or Acuity or whatever, right?
Yep.
And a lot of our software platforms now have that capability. Does your AI, Emily, does Emily correlate with current existing software? Is that a future plan? How does that work if you're already using platforms to handle your scheduling?
Yeah, so absolutely. We can integrate with just about anyone out there. There's a couple 300-pound dinosaurs out there that we can't integrate with quite. But your Google Calendar, your Outlook calendar, your Calendarly, absolutely. As well as integrating with platforms themselves. And so our goal is to really jumpstart that lead management system. So like I said, AI was born out of what do I need to help save time? Well, if all it's doing is answering the phone and then telling me I have a tour, but it's not going into my calendar, it's not sending me a reminder, it's not sending them a reminder, it's not really helpful to me. So yes, it can do all that. So once Emily takes that call, she transposes all that information, can input it directly into your CRM system to get your lead funnel working. If you don't have a CRM system, we have one that that's very basic, that will start that appointment reminder, tour reminder funnel for you. And then at the end of the day, it does also, for my not tech savvy people, send you an email. Hey, you've got a new call, you've got a new lead, you've got a tour. So it goes directly to your email box as well.
I love that. That's my favorite part.
So, so you're not required to learn a whole new software. It's still going to send you the email, but it's going to link into all your systems as well.
How heavy of a lift is this? Like, I know that when I have conversations with folks, the whole concept of adding a new piece of tech or changing tech gets so it's like, oh my God, this is so painful. Like Carrie and I have done this like once a year for the last 3 years. Not because we planned it, but because we found better, more efficient ways to do it. Right. And
Absolutely.
So, if you're going from, in our case, we went from over $1,000 a month tech stack to a $300 a month tech stack. It was painful, but it was worth it. Right.
Yeah.
So what is how painful of a process is this? I mean, obviously they have to probably write the FAQs. They probably have to help write a script, which you probably have AI to help you with, or you have examples. What are we talking as far as the amount of time for setup?
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you, it's basically a Google sheet. We got some basic information, but to take it one step farther, we're going to link directly into any publicly available information about your school. So you don't have to give me an FAQ. I'm going to look into your website. I'm going to get your hours of operation. I'm going to get information.
So we're going to hope all those are up to date.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So we're going to hope they're up to date for sure. But it'll link into the publicly available information. And then when we first launched this, I spent probably about 600 hours talking to Emily. So she's conversational in what parents want. So I was a prospective parent with 1,000 questions. I'm that mom with my list of things. And I spent time just asking her all the hardball questions. So it's set up for childcare. Like I said, I've been in this industry. I've done it. So it's set up to answer questions appropriately, respectfully. And so for setup, you're really just providing us basic information. It's a Google sheet. You're going to give me some basic information about closures, hours of operation, anything that you want us to highlight, what makes your program special. Give me that information. The more information you give me, the better she's going to be, the more specific she can be about things. But she's also not afraid to say, you know what, I'm not sure. Let me connect you with someone. Let me take a message, do all of that kind of stuff. So she knows she's not perfect. And I talk about her like she's a human. She's Emily. So
absolutely.
She's learning and growing every day.
We call ours Jody, so we can respect Emily. So maybe not last question, but my next question is, what is the ROI? So I would be remiss without talking, let's talk about dollars and cents or percentages of ROI. So
Kate, you're using another word as if everybody knows what it is. What is ROI? If they've been listening, but maybe today is the first time because they're a friend of Kayla's.
The very first day.
Maybe it's because Kayla shared it on her social media. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay. So
ROI is return on investment. So when you're spending anything in your business, there should be some return on that investment, return of time or return of revenue. So when
Yeah.
we hire a teacher, we get both, right? That's great. We get the ability to have more revenue and we're not in the classroom. So
Correct.
what is the ROI, the return on investment of hiring Emily?
Yeah, I mean, so we talked a little bit about the time piece. That is our major goal, is to give you back that time piece. But at the end of the day, as we also sort of discussed, it's going to bring in active warm leads into your center. And active warm leads means potential enrollment, and potential enrollment is your revenue line. So it's a way for you to connect with your audience, with your families, that you didn't have before. So it can take up to 1,500 calls every second. Yeah. Yeah. Not that you're getting 1,500 calls every second, but it has the
I
capacity.
That
mean,
would solve
what
a
a
lot of problems.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's,
If you're
it
getting
can,
that many calls per second, I want to see your marketing strategy.
yes,
I'm like going,
exactly. Yeah.
I'm like, can you share that? Like, I got
Yeah.
some people who could use that. Okay, go ahead.
But it can handle that. And then, as we continue to grow and we're working with providers, we're also filling in other gaps for them. And so we've had providers that are like, well, you know what? I don't get a ton of phone calls, but I get a lot of Facebook messages. We now have an autoresponder. Emily can now connect to your Facebook and respond to those messages in there and send that information over to you. And at the end of
Does
the
she handle
day,
that spam too?
yes, she does. She does. She handles that spam. She also lets you know if somebody has commented negatively about you, so that you can respond to that person. We've been able to link into people's Google reviews and Yelp reviews and Facebook messages. So if somebody's saying something, it'll alert you. It'll let you know that there's a negative comment out there, and you can deal with it, because reputation management is a huge piece of what we do. And it's time consuming. It's time consuming to go through all those different websites and check all those places. So this will alert you. And so she's only growing and developing. She started as a voice AI agent. She's now a chatbot, a social media responder, a reputation manager, and she'll only continue to grow as people reach out and let us know what they need. At the end of the day, we want to get people back to caring for children. Caring and educating children is why most of us, shouldn't say everyone, most of us do what we do. And we want to get you back to that. You didn't get into this business to answer the phone 100 times a day. You didn't get into this business to, talk to the spam calls or, filter those messages out. You got into it because you wanted to care for children. So how do we get you back to that?
Absolutely. All right. So, Carrie, do you have anything else you want to add?
I probably have 47 more things that we could say. But what I am going to say is the problem of answering your messages, answering your emails, and answering your phones is costing you thousands of dollars a month. Figure out a way to get past that.
Yep.
And if your center is not answering the phone or responding to social media messages and emails, then you need Kayla, or you need someone like her, or your software. And if you're not sure because you think you're getting most of them, I would suggest you get some secret shopping done.
Yeah.
And we can put you in contact with the secret shopping company that we like, in part because our children are the principals of it, childcaremysteryshopping.com. But if you're not sure that your phone is being answered consistently, you need to check. And if it's not being answered consistently, you're losing money. So fix it.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right.
Could not agree
So-
more.
Absolutely. So in the show notes, we will have all of the links to connect with Kayla and Linder Connect. We might even have some other stuff for you in there. So make sure you go check to see what kind of resources we have
Absolutely.
in the show notes for the episode. And Carrie, would you like to say to everybody?
I would like to say, if you had any feedback on the show, please go into the show notes and text the show. We read all of those, and it helps us to determine who we're going to invite in as guests going forward. And of course, share this show with somebody else who needs to know, your owner, your board, your friend who runs a center across the country. Share it with people who need to know, because this one had a lot of writer downers. Absolutely.
All right. See y'all in a few days.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in. We love bringing you real talk and fresh insight from the world of early childhood education. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay connected and catch all of the latest episodes. And if you're planning a conference, training, or special event, Kate and Carrie would love to speak to your audience. You can learn more about their keynote sessions and workshops at kateandcarrie.com. If you learned something today, share the show and leave us a review below. We'll see you next time on Childcare Conversations.